Good evening. It's another episode of Broken Pen. We're over here. My name is Keely Jade Brewer, repping MX24, and I can't wait to get into tonight's story, okay? Technology is changing the way we live, work, think, and just interact with each other. And today, artificial intelligence can hold conversations, offer comfort, help you remember your feelings, and also make you feel very understood. But what happens when that emotional connection begins to replace the one that you're supposed to have with your partner or the humans around you? And if the person on the other side isn't human, can it still be called cheating if you are kind of emotionally giving yourself to an artificial intelligence app or a bot? So these are the questions for today. And tonight's Broken Pen story is titled Digital Heartstrings. It comes from a woman whose marriage is in jeopardy right now. She's shaking in her boots. She's been shaken after discovering that her husband had developed an emotional attachment to an AI companion. So clearly there's no physical affair going on, but the emotional side of things have her questioning so much and she's feeling so betrayed. So the question is simple, but the answer may not necessarily be. If it feels like cheating, does it matter if it isn't real? That's our thought provoking question for this evening. And you're watching Broken Pen on MX24 TV. You can join the conversation at MX24GH using the hashtag Broken Pen on all of our social media platforms. And you can also share your thoughts on WhatsApp at 055 033 1511. That's 055 033 1511. Yes, so before we begin, I want you to know that your money deserves the safest home. And with Telesal Cash, your money is definitely secured, okay? You're protected every step of the way. No risks, no worries, no hassle, nothing in between. Just lots of peace of mind. So dial star 110 hash and or download the Telesal app. And you can use it for safe and secure transactions. So Telesal Cash, the safer choice. Send it, keke. Yes. So joining me tonight are two guests who would help us unpack this. I have a lovely gentleman on my right and a lovely lady on my left-hand side. Lady Tracy is a licensed counselor with years of experience helping individuals and couples navigate relationship challenges. So you're welcome to Broken Pen, Lady Tracy.
Thank you so much.
Lady Tracy, your wig is fire. We'll talk about it later. In chambers, we
so
shall address
much.
we shall address pertinent issues. I need to know who your plug is. And on my right hand side, I have a fine gentleman. His name is Mr. Andrew Owusu-Amankwah. He's a solutions engineer at Raycom Technologies, and he understands the rapidly evolving world of artificial intelligence and digital interaction. You're welcome as well.
Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. So let's get into tonight's conversation. Let's listen to tonight's Broken Pen story, Digital Heartstrings. All right, so it reads, my name is Na. I'm 32 years old, and just last month, I walked out of my marriage. Kobe and I have been married for 4 years. He's 35, quiet, gentle, the type of man who would rather type out his feelings than talk about them. Our marriage hasn't been perfect, but it hasn't been bad either. It just has been normal, or at least that is what I believed all this while. Everything changed on a Saturday night. He fell asleep on the couch after watching football, and his phone kept buzzing nonstop. I tried so hard to ignore until I saw the name, Baby Mira, with the heart emoji. Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. It flashed across the screen, and in that moment, my heart simply dropped. I didn't want to act like some jealous or insecure wife, but fear and curiosity became stronger than my pride. So I picked up the phone, and that was the moment my whole world began to tilt. What I saw on his screen felt like a deep cut straight to my chest. There were message after message. I miss the way you calm me down. You always know what to say. Talking to you makes me feel less alone. There were long paragraphs, romantic emojis, and compliments he hadn't given me in months. Then I saw the message that completely broke me. I wish I could hold you tonight. I felt something inside me collapse, and all I could do was stare at the phone, shaking and unable to breathe properly. When he finally woke up, I didn't shout or throw the phone. I simply asked, "Who is Mira?" His whole face changed, not into guilt, but into confusion. Nah, it's not a real person. It's AI, he said, almost whispering. I honestly thought he was mocking my intelligence. He quickly grabbed his tablet, opened an app I had never seen before, and showed me everything. Mira wasn't a woman. She was an AI companion, a digital girlfriend designed to respond emotionally and sound human. He told me he only used it when he felt overwhelmed and didn't want to stress me with his problems, quote unquote. But deep inside, it didn't matter whether the person had a body, a voice, or even breath. All I knew was that my husband had found comfort somewhere else, and I wasn't that place anymore. For days, we barely spoke. I slept facing the wall. He kept trying to explain himself, to apologize, to assure me it meant nothing. But all I could think was, why did you tell a robot everything you should have told your wife? It wasn't until a few days later that I realized the real wound. I wasn't angry at the AI at all. I was angry because somewhere in our marriage, my husband stopped feeling safe to talk to me. Somewhere along the line, I had lost that part of him without even realizing. That thought hurt me more than any message he had sent. Last week, he deleted the app right in front of me. He held me and promised it was over. But even that moment didn't magically fix the damage. The wound is still there, the doubt, the distance, the memory of almost packing my bags over a woman who never existed. MX24, I don't even fully know what kind of advice I'm asking for. All I know is that my heart is heavy, confused, and tired. How do you heal from something that wasn't technically cheating, but still shattered you like it was? This is my broken pen. Please help me write again. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to this point of humanity. We've reached this part of the timeline where human beings are now interacting with robots, and a robot could just jeopardize your relationship without you even realizing. Now, at first, you'd be worried about a human being coming in between you and your partner. But now you don't just have human beings to contend with, you have robots. Robots that validate every singular emotion and will tell you that you are right and would massage your ego and the inner part of you that actually wants a yes man to say, yeah, sure, everything you say is amazing. How did we get here?
We wanted life to get easier and better. We wanted life to, that's what technology is all about. Making your life easier and better. And when you have easier and better options, you kind of draw closer to that option, right? Technologists all over, all we're trying to do is we just want to make things faster, smoother, better, in every way we possibly can. So looking at this AI girlfriend kind of thing, I've actually seen a pop-up on my phone, and there was an app introducing that to me before. So it's there. But then, so what it does is that now it's going to speak to people who don't have the capacity to hold conversations. They're still going to get the same experience, but now they're having this experience with a robot.
Right. So their inner introvert is kind of satisfied by having interaction, but without a human being present, right? Okay, so Lady Tracy, let me begin with you too. Stories like this, like we just said, are becoming increasingly common, right? So before we even discuss the AI bits, we'll come back to you,
No
Tech
problem.
Bro. What emotional needs usually drive people to seek comfort outside of their relationship?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. I'm happy you had to put the AI thing somewhere because for me, I'm not looking at the AI as in technology. This AI could have been a human being.
Yeah.
It could have been it could have been maybe a colleague, it could have been a family member, it could have been anything. So what's the whole issue is emotional disconnection. The woman is feeling emotionally betrayed. It's not because the person was an artificial person or a real person. I don't know if you get it. So my question or my interest is, if I had these people come into the session, would have been, what was this guy actually looking for that he couldn't find in the marriage, but rather had to go elsewhere for it? So we all have our emotional needs. I'm a counselor. When people take this temperament test, we have this temperament test that when people go through this temperament test, you are told of all your emotional needs. You
Right.
get it? And your spouse is supposed to satisfy those needs for you. It's when these needs are not met that people tend to go outside, whether it's AI, whether it's other human beings.
So then what are some of these needs? Let's actually spell them out, because there are some people who enter into relationships and unfortunately the knowledge that they are given in terms of how to conduct yourself in a relationship or what to expect in a relationship, it can be very warped. It can either be very deficient or it can be very condensed for no reason whatsoever. So some people would enter into a relationship thinking, okay, I need someone who's going to give me all of their attention. They should show up in an orderly manner. They should be able to do this, do that, do this, do that. And then others too enter into a relationship thinking, well, why do I need a partner that requires all this attention? Why do I need somebody who wants physical touch? You know, so what are some of the components? Let's lay them bare.
Okay, so we have, like you said, attention is one of them. We want someone who can also affirm or validate. Someone wants that kind of care. Someone also wants someone to help him or her to take a decision. Some people are not able to take decisions. They need people to help them. So where all these needs are not met, I don't want to go into the temperament bit. Okay,
let's just skim the top a little.
Okay, all right. So when we have this, we have sanguines who wants, these are the attention seekers. Okay, so a sanguine person comes around and I'm looking good. I need you to tell me I'm looking good. If you don't tell me, I have to go and get that from outside. We have melancholies who are also introverts. You see, melancholies also they can take decisions, but they need people to validate it. So as you are my spouse and you are not giving me that validation, I have to go outside and go and get it. We also have the cholerics. They make sure that everything, they can do everything, the great bosses and everything. But they also don't want anyone to support, to also help them. This is me, and that's fine now. So if you bring two cholerics in marriage, when two cholerics are together, you can imagine what is going to happen. It's going to be clashes here and there. We also have these phlegmatics. Also, they also are perfectionists, but they also need people to push them. So if you're married to a phlegmatic partner, and you are not pushing the person will just be there watching you, as if the person doesn't care. So the emotional needs vary depending on the temperament and the person. That is what I would say.
Right. So basically, what we've arrived at is that instead of looking at just the AI components, there was clearly something missing in Na's marriage that the husband wasn't getting. But then sometimes too, there are people who, and this is just me playing devil's advocate, there are people who you can give so much to, but then because they don't want it from you, it feels like they are getting nothing. What do you do in those cases too?
Well, that brings a whole different ball game, or it introduces something extra into just what we are talking about. Because if you are not expecting that from that person, it makes it very difficult for the person to actually navigate or present it to you. Like you're saying, for example, you want a cup of tea, and you don't want to hear that from me, right? Or you don't want to get that from me, and I decide to bring it to you. You're definitely not going to accept it or appreciate it. So I think the main problem is we need to be able to identify who we match with, who we vibe with, who we roll with. I'm using vibe and match and roll because you need to understand who you're dealing with also, right? Forgive me for taking this back a bit, but I think one of the most important things is you need to first of all understand yourself, to understand what you like and what you don't like. Because if the person who understood themselves and realized that I don't need this from this person, the person won't even engage that person in the first place. Would rather figure out that, okay, I prefer to be with this kind of person. So I wouldn't be with this person and expect what the person can't give. Or even when the person gives it to me, I may not appreciate it. So we need to come from that direction also.
Can I add something to what he said?
Of course.
Yes. So the thing also is that some people don't even know what they want.
True.
This one was a cup of tea. Someone could just have also just said, I'm hungry, so I need something to eat. This one, you were specific. You said, I wanted a cup of tea. Someone would have said, I'm just hungry. So I bring in wache, I don't like it. I bring in rice, I don't like it. I bring in kenke, I don't like it. So the question is, what do you want? And the same person will tell you, I don't know. See, so sometimes it's not as though the person is not giving the right thing, but the thing is that you don't even know what you want.
Yeah, you don't know exactly what to give, and it's very difficult because sometimes it feels like you are moving with speed because you are looking at the urgency of the situation, but you're going in the wrong direction because no matter what you do, it's just not necessarily appreciated. So it would be great if Na could have shared more details and more insight into her relationship, how it's been over the last couple of months. I think it's a good way to assess the last 90 days. If you were to give yourself a performance review, what was it necessarily like? Were you easy to talk to? Were you very brash that whenever the person is trying to share an idea, automatically you shut it down without even realizing? Were you feeling burnt out and overburdened so much that when the person comes with a problem, because you feel the need to solve it so you have peace of mind, you can come off as aggressive. It's like, you just bring it, let me just do it quickly. You just let me just do it. Or the person is trying to sort something out, but because you feel like, I don't want to have to double check it, you aggressively take over it and do it, and the person starts to feel like you don't necessarily trust their partnership. What kind of problems are you facing? You need to go into all of these things to be able to dig it out. But let's talk about the AI companions. So you're into tech.
Yes.
Yes, they said you're the biggest tech bro in these streets. Yes, we love it over here. And AI companions are becoming more human. They they speak like they are sentient nowadays, and sometimes it's even almost scary, right? So with that being said, from a technology perspective, what would you say some of these platforms are designed to do emotionally? Because whenever they are being pitched, they're being pitched as solution bringers for business, for work, for just organizing your life. But the emotional side is not necessarily explored, because I guess human beings are not expected to build emotional relationships with these machines, but somehow they're able to trap people.
Yeah, I like the direction you came from. So most technological stuff that are developed for our benefit. You get it. There's one thing I was having a conversation with somebody. Let me take it to the social bit a bit.
Okay.
I was having a conversation with someone, and she mentioned that her boyfriend is not enough. When she said her boyfriend was not enough, I was like, were you expecting him to be enough? Okay, let's be real. It takes a community to get you going, right? One person cannot do it all for you, right? So these AIs, even in your offices, right? Use AI assistants to help you write your emails. Use AI assistants to help you even with your welcome messages, with your telephony, with your contact center solutions. That's what we usually deal in, right? AI is making it better for you. So the development of these AIs is actually supposed to make life better, but it has been corrupted, or others are using it for other things, right? So, like I said, no one person can get it all done for you. But then you need to understand where you draw the boundaries, where you draw the lines. What can you give to one person to do for me, or what can I give to another person to give for you? Let me change the scenario a bit. Let's say you're living in a house and you have a maid who is helping with stuff. I don't think as a wife you would be comfortable your maid wash your husband's stuff, right? Some very private stuff, if I put it that way.
It's delicate.
Yes. You wouldn't expect her to come into certain corners of your room, right? Because that is your part. She's helping with the other stuff, the stuff outside. So with this, what we need to do is we need to just draw the clear boundaries that, okay, I'm using AI to help me further my education. I'm using AI to help me get additional information. I'm using AI to sometimes while away boredom, but not into a place where now you're getting that emotional attachment.
But don't you think boredom is the gateway to opening up emotionally to AI? Because if you are bored, let's say you are bored, you are sitting at home, there's light off because it's raining. I don't know who told ECG that rain comes with light off. Hi, ECG. But so you're at home, you're bored, there's nothing to do, and then you pick up your phone, you open some form of a GPT, you start engaging it, asking it random questions, and then you decide, I feel like having an actual conversation. And a lot of people tend to test out the AI to see the bounds of how far the conversation can go. Through that, don't you think that can be a gateway where just by testing the waters, you can fall deeply into the pool?
You're right. It can be. But like my sister said, let's assume that was even just another woman. So let's put it even, sorry for turning the question a bit.
We're good.
But let's put it back into having another human. That's why I said you need to be able to draw clear boundaries. Having another, let's say, friend to have such deep conversation with is something sometimes we all crave, especially if your spouse works a lot. Let's say your spouse even works outside the country or works in a different town, comes in from time to time. Where do you draw the boundaries with the type of conversation that you're having with that friend who is helping you get rid of that boredom?
Right.
Because the boredom would come whether you like it or not. The question is, what do you do when you find yourself in that boredom? Right? So like I'm saying, technology is here to help us. Technology is here to make things better, right? It's to assist us, especially with this AI, right? You would have to draw that boundary. Like I said, I have seen these AI apps about get an AI girlfriend and whatever pop up on my phone.
True.
I decided not to engage because I had to draw the boundaries somewhere, right? Let's go back to even the scenario. The guy engaged. It will get to a certain point in time. Human beings as we are never really satisfied. You get to a certain limit where he would want to try something more. What if he bumps into a lady on the street who is like Mira, similar with vibe, is matching energy? If he doesn't draw the boundary, he would ask her out for a drink because now he's no longer satisfied with that level of okay, I got an AI girlfriend and it was cool.
Right.
Now he wants more. He needs a physical being. Then he meets that Mira. If he doesn't understand what is going on and how he's spiraling out, he will cross certain boundaries.
You know what? Adding on to what you just said, even outside of him meeting a real life mirror, he could literally just create his own mirror because there are some AI dating chatbots. They exist out there where you can go in, basically
exactly
type
what
a
you
prompt,
want. Yeah.
exactly what you want, from bust size to hip size
Everything.
to waist size, eyes, eye color, dimensions. If they generate the avatar and you don't like it, you can specify it to what you want it to be. Even if you want it to have dragon horns, you can specify for it to have dragon horns if that's what you're into. And then now you have that avatar that you can equally send to a blow-up doll factory as a mock-up for them to create a blow-up doll to be shipped to your house. So it's a long chain reaction of decisions that can lead you down a certain path where you become reclusive and it's just you and a blow-up doll, or it's you behind a screen confiding in a companion that's not even there, right? So with that being said, in terms of dealing with Na's situation and looking at how she feels about the fact that the husband confided in this AI, would you say that emotional intimacy can exist even when there's no real human being involved?
Yes. Yes, and it's dangerous because let's assume Mira didn't pop up. Mira didn't get desperate. You know, sometimes you feel, oh, it's human beings that usually get desperate or that kind of stuff. Imagine there was no call from Mira. This would have continued for God knows how long, right?
Yeah.
So I totally agree that, yes, there can exist an emotional connection with somebody else who is not your partner, with an AI, with, yeah, that's, I believe it can exist. But the question is, would you allow that to happen?
What about you, Lady Tracy?
For me, like I said, this AI thing could have been any other person. So if the people were with me, the counselees, I mean, the couple were with me, I just wanted to find out what happened that they got to that point. Because if you read a story, I think Mira's, the lady said, now said, along the line, the husband now confided, or was now finding some kind of comfort outside the marriage. So the question is, how was their relationship how was their relationship like before the AI thing happened? And what actually happened that they moved to that particular stage? You know, I've actually handled a particular story like that. Okay, a similar story where I realized that one word from the woman actually shut the man down emotionally. Yes.
It
So,
happens.
yes,
And men don't talk.
men don't talk.
True.
You see? So what actually happened was that the lady came complaining that my husband is not being transparent as he used to be. He's not being open as he used to be. So we're asking what happened. He said, I don't know. It's okay, if you can invite your husband. So we called the man came around. He said, back then, anytime I try to embark on any project, I'll just tell my wife, I want to start this particular business. Then the wife will say, okay, I give you the go ahead. The man starts the business, it doesn't thrive, it doesn't work, it goes down. I think he did about 3 times. All collapsed. So he waited for a while. I think someone else introduced him into a different business. And the man called the wife and said, oh, you know what? This particular friend said I should try. He said, hey, as for you, won't you give up? Everything you do, it doesn't succeed. You're just losing money. So I think it's about time we stop this thing. So the man said emotionally, he just shut down
I mean, I would too,
and decided not to tell this woman anything again. The funny thing is that she had forgotten the statement she made. So when they came into the session, I was asking, the man said, let me just remind my wife something she said that probably maybe she's forgotten about. So the man said, do you remember this particular day? You said this and this and that. So you know what happened? The lady actually broke down in tears. She cried because she didn't know that the same issue she was complaining about, she was actually the one who actually, she contributed to it, you see. So when the man said, so this is what you said. And so now I decided, now before I start anything, I want to wait for a while for the thing to stand. So actually,
Before I inform you.
Before I inform you. So in this case, it's someone else came to tell you. I was just waiting for it to get to a point. That is, if really that's what the husband wanted to do, but that is what happened. So I think as married people, we should be very careful. We should be cautious. The kind of things that we tell our partners. In this story, you realize that the man was not. The man didn't want. He wasn't looking for AI to solve the problem for him. He just wanted that emotional availability, that presence. So sometimes our partners are not
available.
Exactly.
True.
They're not waiting for us to solve everything. Just, I want to be sure you are just available. Right? The man didn't say, "Hey, I thank you for solving my problems." Or when I talk to you, all my problems are solved. He says that I don't feel alone anytime I'm with you. So our partners sometimes don't want us to solve their problems, but they just want to be sure that we are emotionally available.
Very true, very true.
Let me add a little to what she said. So I took this thing with the perspective of a man, right? We are trying to solve the problem for Na, but then I was trying to put myself in Na's husband's shoes. Even Mira was saying that she misses him. When was the last time she told him she misses him? When was the last time Na told the husband, right? I'm not blaming Na, but let's look at how things deteriorate over the years. Ibo White said this in one of his shows or one of his programs. Says most marriages die by the second or third year. And it shook me. I was like, by the second or third year. And when he said that, initially we thought, you know how he puts a statement out, it looks like it's weird, then he explained it. He went on to say that most of the married people would actually live to 20, 25 years. But the energy, the bond, the vibe, the match dies after about 2 or 3 years. So from the rest of the time, you're either just dealing with each other, you become glorified roommates. And probably you just, because of society, you stay together, you take care of the kids. The excitement is gone, the pizzazz, everything seems to have died down. So how does this happen? And it is because of some of these things. Resentments being another thing. Because the man was resenting his wife for saying what she said, right? It's possible, like she said, there was a time where he used to come to her. She no longer provided that safe space for him to come to her. We don't know the whole story, but we can assume that that's exactly what was going on, right? So it comes to our mind, what do we do as spouses, right? Especially for our men who don't talk much, right? Because he will just do And there's this weird adage that goes that a happy wife, a happy life. So he'll put down his happiness just to make sure the wife is happy for whatever to go on. Then he'll try to look for his happiness elsewhere. And that's where he bumped into the AI. Fortunately, it wasn't a real girl, but it still is some form of cheating.
So that
right?
would be the next phase of our conversation. Stick with us. We have more coming your way. Next phase of our conversation, we're going to be asking if you are sharing your dreams, your fears, your worries with this AI, does that count as emotional cheating? We'll be back right after the break. And we are back. You're watching Broken Pen on MX24 TV. My name is Keely Jade Brewer, sitting in for Daphne Flashley, who was kind enough to lay my edges before she left the building. I love you, Daphne. Thank you so much. And I'm here with Lady Tracy and our lovely brother Andrew. We're here discussing technology, emotional love via AI. How is it working out for some people? Technology is advancing faster than many of us ever imagined. And perhaps a bigger question is whether our relationships are evolving just as quickly or if emotional attachment can now exist beyond another human being. So it's making us think, how should couples respond to this? Are you growing faster with your partner or you're growing faster with a platform? Well, before we jump into that, I want you to know that your money deserves the safest home. Telecel Cash is where your money needs to be. Safe transactions, no hassle, no haggling. Your money is your money. It belongs to you and you get it when you need to, all right? Peace of mind with Telecel. So go ahead, dial *110# or download the Telecel Play app for safe and secure transactions. And Telecel Cash is the safer choice. Send it, keke, all right? Let's jump right back into our conversation. Before we went for a break, we're discussing relationships. If you are sharing your deepest, darkest thoughts with an AI app or an AI bot, does that count as emotional cheating because you're not sharing that with your partner? Who would like to go first?
Okay, so I would say that it's not about whether it's emotional cheating or emotional, is it betrayal? The truth here is that trust has been broken. That is the whole thing. It's not whether it's cheating, because even they'll tell you that we have so many forms of cheating. We have the physical one, the intimate part. We have this cyber cheating. We have financial cheating. We have so many types of cheating.
Yeah.
If you are not transparent financially with your spouse, they call it financial cheating.
Yeah.
So it's not what type of cheating. For me, the most important thing here is that trust has been broken. And that is where the problem is. Exactly.
What about you, Andrew?
To piggyback on what she said, it's the foundation. The foundation is trust. The foundation is the bond. The foundation is the cordiality. What existed, that's broken, right? So what needs to be worked on is that which is broken. How can we re-establish that? How can we solidify that? How can we put it in a state where it can't get broken again? So that's what I would also say.
But playing devil's advocate, somebody out there would be like, you know what? At the end of the day, Mira doesn't have a size 4 waist. He didn't touch any waist. No Ikebe was touched in the making of this video. So what exactly is the problem? Why is it that it hurts so bad although there's no physical interaction?
Yeah, so that emotional betrayal, it's like I'm there. All this while, you had an issue. You had to go outside the marriage. So I don't know for now. Someone could have said, okay, so this time out is AI. What if it was to be another person, another woman?
Yeah, what if it was just a woman with the initials AI?
Exactly. You see, so it's not, the thing is, what went wrong? What didn't I do right? That you had to go outside and go and get all these things. So you see, for me, what I also noticed was that I think, I don't know if the man was feeling lonely at a point. Because he said that, one of the messages read, he said, when I talk to you, I feel less alone. I don't know whether you remember something like that.
Yeah.
So when
I think
talk
that was
to
Mira
you,
that was saying it, but
yeah, he was like, I feel less
that.
alone.
Exactly.
He was basically saying he feels emotionally validated.
Exactly. So I don't know whether maybe at a point in his marriage, he was a bit lonely. I don't know. I can't see because I wasn't there. Okay. So the man was looking for something to me that he couldn't find within the marriage. Because my wife is at home, but I'm still feeling lonely. So it means that loneliness is not the absence of what? People.
Right.
It's the absence of emotional connection.
That's deep.
Exactly. That's what I think.
That's very poetic. Yeah. That's very, very, very poetic.
You can be in a room with 1,000 people and still
feel alone.
Feel very alone.
Yes, because you are not connecting with them emotionally. Yes.
So right now, we've looked at all the other angles. We've also kind of questioned Na as well, talking about, where was she slacking? Where was she not giving enough? And to the husband, we've been asking what's missing. And we don't have answers to that, but we've gone into it regardless. So I'm sure as Na is watching, she'd be able to pick from it and say, okay, maybe I didn't do this right. Or maybe I've been doing all of this and he just has a problem. Or he is, for some people, it can be a display of mental illness as well. You know, it starts in stages. Some people would fall in love with inanimate objects. Off the camera, we're talking about certain people who identify as pansexual. They can say, oh, I'll fall in love with anything and everything. Love is love. And they can decide to fall in love with this microphone or this tablet or the mug and have a real affinity to it. But then some people would class that as, you know, a form of mental illness. Not pansexuality, but falling in love with an inanimate object. So with that being said, he's gone ahead to delete the app. Does deleting the app automatically mean that trust should be restored? Because if it was a real person and he was saying, I've cut you off, even after he cuts off the person, there will still be a level of mistrust because you stepped out in the first place. Yeah. So it wouldn't be easy to let go of. But now that it's an app, how are we going to be looking at this? Is this something that can just be water under the bridge, or should it be treated the same way?
So it's not going to be that easy, right? Deleting the app, you can reinstall the app, right? You can reinstall the app on a different stage, on a different phone, probably left in the office or something. It's not coming home, so now wifey's not going to see it.
Oh, also
right?
For the ladies out there whose boyfriends have probably been cheating, let me tell you, once you open your iPhone, go to where the apps are on the far right, scroll all the way down, you see hidden. If he's a man, he should bring his face, unlock it and see if you see any apps over there. And also, some people put Face ID on their apps as well. Also, if they're trying to hide apps, they don't leave them on the main page, they leave it on the apps section. So if you're looking to see whether your partner is on dating apps, that would be a great place to check. You're welcome. That was just a quick PSA. Over to you, Andrew.
So like I said, it could be reinstalled, it could be installed elsewhere. And so then that's where she comes in by saying that what is the fundamental thing that was broken, right? There needs to be a certain level of communication between the two parties. They first need to talk to each other. If they talk to each other or they interact with each other in various forms, because interaction could not only be just talking, but they should also give it time.
Right.
Because some of these stuff don't happen instantaneously. It takes a while, it takes a process. And I think when you have that at the back of your mind, it makes it easier to be able to forgive your spouse over a period of time. But if you expect to feel automatically good almost immediately, it's unfair. The man deleting the app, it was an action that he's taking to show that, listen, I want to take a step to save our relationship.
So basically, that's him extending an olive branch, but it doesn't necessarily solve...
It doesn't solve the problem.
Okay.
It's just the first step to solving the problem. And it would have to go through a certain process. The process of restoring the trust. So that should be the main focus. I don't know if you get where I'm coming from.
Yes, I get exactly what you mean.
But the fact that he actually took the first step to delete it in front of her, it's a show of faith that, listen, I am putting in an effort. Meet me halfway. You know, there are some people who you would put in effort to try to restore it. They've just cut you off because they've made up their mind. They are not trying to understand it. Such people need to understand that it's a process. Yes, they are not feeling instantaneously good like on the spot. They need to understand or appreciate that it takes a while. So our sister now, it takes a while. So give it some grace, give it some time. Be open to interact. Be open to listen to him. Create that space or that comfort that makes him feel comfortable enough to open up more to you, rather than you can find out from him, why has it become difficult for you to now come closer to me, right? And in due time, if he can't give you an answer immediately, which most men usually don't have the answer.
Yeah, you never do.
Give him time. Give him time to process. Give him time to process it. Give him time to think through it himself.
How much time is too much time, though? Because your agenda, you always say, give us time. It's not the right time. I need more time. And the clock only has 24 hours on it. And the calendar has 365 days. So how much time are we looking at?
So what you can do is you can do a regular check-in.
How
you
regular?
Can check regular as in like maybe every 3 days, every 4 days.
That would drive a typical man crazy. A
typical man every 3 days. But what about every 2 hours or every 30 minutes? You know, there are some women who actually do that,
If you want him in a straight jacket, sure.
Okay. So that's why I'm saying that you need to be able to afford some time. And if you actually have spent some time with your man, you spent like 3 to 4 years with him, right? Maybe you haven't paid too much attention to him. Maybe the marriage has been more centered about what society wants. The next step, yes, marriage has been done, dusted off. The next thing is to give birth. We've done that, dusted off. The next thing is to get money. Done that, dusted off. That means you have, most often than not, it used to be men neglecting women. But now we have women neglecting men.
Right. So what you're
So-
saying is right now we've moved from actually marking progress in the relationship, or marking progress in intimacy or depth in intimacy, with marking milestones.
Exactly. Exactly. So then they need to take a back seat to that. They need to discuss that, right?
Right.
And then understand that it takes a while for the trust to be rebuilt. So be a bit more patient. You, the ladies, be a bit more patient with us, the guys. We don't process things the way you process things. When
yeah,
we say
but don't
give
you
us
think
time,
sometimes that thing is used as an excuse to intentionally stall and delay conversations because you feel you are not ready to have them? Are conversations only meant to be had when the person feels like having them, or hard conversations need to be had because they need
So-
to be had?
okay, so I like that question. And a lot of people are going through that. I've had my fair share of that. Sometimes when we say give us time, it is because maybe we haven't made time to process the issue. And that is where the main problem is. That's why you see it looks like we are stalling, right? Before a woman comes to you with an issue, she goes through everything, left to right, front to center, before she presents it to you. At the time you, the man, are receiving it, you haven't processed it the way she has. And like we're saying off camera, men are usually worried to talk too much because what they say will be used against them later on. So when we say give us some time, we want to process. Unfortunately, sometimes other issues are there, and men sometimes don't prioritize that conversation. That's something that we need to work on as men, right? Prioritizing the issue that has been brought up when it is emotional. Especially when you know, Charlie, I have some loans to sort out. I have this new project that I'm working on. I need to get that done. And you come and tell me I feel lonely. That is way lower on my list. But as men, what we need to do is we need to take it a bit higher on our list and make time to do that. So be patient with us, but at the same time, as men, let's prioritize these concerns that are brought to us for us to discuss.
I mean, of course, because at the end of the day, if today you were to fall sick or it was all to go to the trash, the loan sharks will be coming after your neck. You'd be seeking her for comfort. If you lost out on your income, she would be supporting the home with her income. You look to her for support. So yeah, prioritizing your partner's emotional needs on both ends of the spectrum.
Thank you.
Very, very, very important, right? Yes, over to you.
All right. So I just wanted to add that you see this issue. I think at a point now said she wanted to pack her bags, so she was shattered and everything.
Yeah, she was
So
ready
this
to
is an
leave.
emergency. So I don't think that the man should say, "I need some time to." You should have processed this still long ago.
Yeah.
Because your wife she's not happy. You get it, and you deleting the app means that it's a step, okay, to resolve whatever issue. So please, I don't know how much time the man needs, but this is like an emergency. It's urgent.
I understand
So
where you're
he
coming
should,
from.
and he should also open up this time round,
I get-
because he gave, I think, a reason that he didn't want to burden her.
Yes.
That's why he didn't tell. I think
That's an excuse.
maybe I feel there's more to it. So he should
There's more to
openly
it.
communicate.
Okay.
Let's now know exactly what she didn't do right. Let her know exactly what you want, so she can also help you. But if you say that, then because I don't want to burden you, but you want to burden AI, right?
Yeah, and also now I would say do some more due diligence. Ask him the app. What's the app called? How does it work? The reason why I'm saying ask these questions is because he well could have been texting someone on these mini free to chat apps, right? That come with all these ads, very low budget project apps, but then they are being used for online dating and stuff. I don't want to mention any names because they haven't paid us for endorsement. But yeah, they exist out there, and he could have been IMing or internet messaging a random lady from across the world in a certain chat room, but then calling it AI because it's on an unfamiliar app. So do your due diligence and find out what the app actually is, because it would be very cost 90 for us to give you all of these tips and you find out that he was actually cheating with a real person, probably just across the globe, because that's also a higher possibility. But with what you've both said, communication is very important. They need to have a full conversation about it. It cannot be stalled or say, oh, I haven't processed it. No, you process it while you are having the conversation. That's why you have thinking capacity. For example, when your boss comes to ask you at the office, oh, I need answers on this today, you provide those answers. You have the thinking capacity to process and give answers.
Let me be a bit off with this one. Because when you're talking about an emotional and a logical thing, it's different. Right?
Of course.
That's why most often than not we say men are logical. If my boss should meet me right now and ask me some of these logical questions, I'd get answers for them, because I'll put 2 and 2 together. It's 2 plus 2, 4 plus 4, 5 plus 5. The emotion doesn't work like that.
Of course, but in certain situations, at least come with the logical answer. Like, start with an answer.
Let me
before
know
you
you're
turn
not
to the
going to use it
emotions.
against me. Give me that space and let me know that what I am saying right now, speaking to you, I know women actually process while speaking. That's why they speak a lot.
Yeah.
Men don't do that. Let me know you're not going to use this against me later on. And I think I'll be comfortable enough to actually say it.
Sophie, please, can I
But-
come in?
yeah,
Is
go
it
ahead.
is it that you think all women are going to use that against you, or is it because she has done that before?
It's possible she's done that before.
So what if she hasn't?
Exactly.
If she hasn't, then it's a trauma. We talked about traumas, right? Then it's a trauma. Then it is, how should I put it? Socialization. Then it is what society has told me to do. It's what I have done for the past 30 years. And you're expecting me to change in 30 seconds. It's not fair. So what I'm saying is, yes, let's study the other person we're dealing with, right? Because I know some women who actually sometimes act like men. They won't talk. They will see you doing what you're doing. They will watch you, but then you will never know they even know. Because there are even scenarios where you would see women have been on platforms saying that I saw my husband cheating, whatever. She didn't say anything and has started planning whatever she wants to do moving forward, right? That means she has checked out. So in this scenario, fortunately, they both want to repair the relationship. That's why I'll circle back and say, the way women would want to communicate and let's talk about it now and process it now and everything, give us some grace. We've been traumatized. We've been socialized not to be able to do that, right? And we will work on it to get better. Okay? We'll work on it to get better. Just give us some grace. That's all I'm asking for most of the men, right? We are not stalling, we are not making excuses, but give us some grace. Yeah.
All right. So I have some of your comments over here from Instagram. Let me pull that up real quick. Clenam Crystal. Hi, Crystal. She says, my first expression was, I want to believe it's actually AI, but I want to hold you in my arms tonight. Who holds a robot in an app in their arms? Anyway, could you tell us the name of the app? O for Oyua. O for Oyua. Exactly what I said. You need to verify and do your due diligence, okay? Sewa says, AI can send messages on his phone like that. Hey, story way. Exactly, because they are some of these apps are prevalent too, and the profiles, if you were to see them, some people have their picture, their name, and their price. So you know what I'm referring to is like right there, and you can access it, talk to them, and you do what you want to do, you pay, and you keep it moving, right? So they exist out there. So sister, due diligence, be on it, check. Franklin GH7 says, hi Franklin. Whether it's AI or a lady taking your place, it's great that you felt a huge discomfort knowing that your husband is finding solace elsewhere, real, artificial, or imaginary. It's also good that you're aware of the fact that something has been wrong in your marriage. I don't think you should be angry with your husband for seeking comfort elsewhere. Rather than being irritated by his actions and inactions, why not have a constructive conversation with him to find out where things are going wrong? Why can't he talk to you about his issues? I don't think we're discounting the possibility of a cheat, but what if your conduct, utterances, posture, and certain things you may consider trivial, but which you do, could be the cause whereby your husband is disconnecting with you? My dear, please don't just be upset, disappointed, or angry. Rather be curious. Why is he pulling back from me? Whether it's an AI or a human lady, you can win the comfort, love, and affection of your husband if you approach this issue without feelings of anger, upset, or disappointment. Because if you also fail to account for your part in this, you could be holy and as perfect as Molly, but he could also be secretly cheating. But first, please approach this as a team. Kristen Joe says, and you believed it, sis. Whew. Well, let's look at Franklin's comment. I get where
Thank
he's
you
coming
very
from,
much.
but I
Yeah.
feel like a portion
you
of his
very much.
comment is removing the part that calls for accountability on the man's part. You can't tell her how to feel when you have done something to put her in a certain emotional state. So if she has seen that you are emotionally cheating with an AI and she's upset, she has every right to be upset. It's just that the bounds of her being upset shouldn't extend beyond a certain limit in order for good discourse to still go forward. But for her to not be upset and just brush it and be like, okay, you know what? Let's just focus on you. Are you okay? What's wrong? No, we don't do that. That's pick Misha behavior. No.
Can I also add something?
Sure.
So, without stepping on toes, right? You can tell Franklin is a man. Look at how he approached it. He was taking the emotional element out and looking at it logically. Okay, so I think that's where we need to meet each other halfway. And I like the way both of you ladies were responding, because you were talking about, you were re-emphasizing the emotional bits. Don't take it out. I agree. But men look at things, for example, if you said we should sit down and have a conversation now, the man will look at it from the logical thing. Oh, it was just an app. I've deleted it. Let's move on. It's not fair to the woman, but then again, he hasn't processed it in an emotional way. So he wouldn't be able to come to it from that direction. That's why I'm like, communication, men usually will look at it from the logical side, women from the emotional side. Let's practice empathy. Women, sometimes come to the logical side. Let's, as men, also go to the emotional side and try and put ourselves in each other's shoes.
Yin and yang.
Then we can actually have a more fruitful conversation.
Of course.
Yes, that's all I'm asking.
I'm not cutting in with this. Give me time to process. You see, sometimes it's like you never process it.
There are
The
men
person
who
comes-
do that. There are men who
yes.
do that. Yes, there are men.
That's
who
why
do
she
that.
said it's some form of excuse,
Yeah,
because
some
you
people
come and you tell
stall.
me I'm still
true.
processing. 'Cause this issue is very urgent.
Yes, but he put a step in.
You don't worry, we'll get to that part of the
That's
show.
why I'm saying
Let's finish
he
the
put,
comments.
he put
Let's
a
finish.
step in, because if he was just stalling and didn't want anything to do with you again, you continue to stall and forever stall,
You can
and
just
will never
reinstall
come back.
that thing in seconds.
Yes, but I'm taking what you said a step further. When a man is not usually coming back to you, not fully processing it, he's left it alone. It's very likely he won't come back from that, right? So the men who are willing to actually come back from that would need the time to process things, probably emotionally. The only problem is how many men are willing to do that.
Right.
How many men have the capacity to do that? Because we've been so wired in the logical, let's get this done, let's get this. How many men even understand the emotions they are going through? I've had conversation with some guys. They say we have only two emotions, anger and we are fine. Anger and we are fine. So you notice you deal with a guy, he's extremely angry at a point, and then from the anger, he's just fine.
Well, you know, when we get to look into my eyes, we'll offer advice to both Na and the husband. But
Okay.
let's wrap up these comments over here because they are quite juicy.
Okay.
LJBMS, hey girl, very pretty. Your bust down is cute. She says, please find it in your heart to forgive him. Maybe the two of you should try counseling. Fight for the marriage. It's a journey. It won't always be sunshine and rainbows. Anyway, what do I know? Well, I will. Del Ajo says, Tony Lil T says, we cannot fix this one. You have to go through it. Stop blaming yourself and focus on fixing the problem.
Logical.
Tara Boy says, there is nothing to be worried about. At least he proved something. There are worse situations than this. He's already remorseful. Why don't you forgive him, please? And our last comment over here that we picked is from Nana Ansa 7. Thank you so much for your comment. It reads, the question you should ask yourself is, why is my husband comfortable with AI than me? It means you're not doing something right. Do self-assessment and try to correct all the things you're not doing right, and pray to God to guide you in all of this. So that's just a few of our comments from our Instagram page, differing views, differing opinions, but I'd like each of you to directly speak to Na. Na is clearly going through a lot. Over here at Broken Pen, we go through people's stories, and sometimes we find little bits of sunshine in there and we laugh, but these are people's real lives. This is someone's real dilemma. So I want you to each look into your camera. So your camera is over there, and Mr. Andrew, your camera is over there.
Okay.
So I'd like you to speak directly to Na as if she was sitting here in front of you. What would you tell her? Who would like to go first?
Ladies first.
Okay.
Want to be a gentleman.
Lady
Okay.
Tracy first then.
So I would just want to tell Nat that I understand that if she's not so happy about whatever the husband has, whether the person is an artificial person or a real person, I just understand and I can feel for her, okay? Whatever she's going through, I think I understand whatever she's going through. But then again, I wanted to have an open communication with your husband just to know exactly. It could be that maybe you didn't do something right. Just find out where you went wrong, okay? It could be that you are even contributing to whatever that is happening, unknowingly, unconsciously. So just have an open conversation, and know whatever your husband wants. Just as my brother said, maybe your husband will tell you, I'm not ready. I don't know when you have to go back. If you need to go back every 2 hours, every 3 hours, every day to make sure this conversation, you guys can have that conversation. I think you should do that, okay? And if he's not forthcoming, maybe you can talk to your counselor or get any professional counselor that can help you. Get anyone that's maybe your husband that can actually talk to your husband to give you that listening ear or just open up. Because you need to have this conversation ASAP. I know you are not happy, but it's just because of what you are going through. And I think it is normal. We can understand. We can relate to that. So just, it's okay. However you are feeling, it's okay. We understand, okay? But just open up more, talk to your husband, and let's know what else you have to do going forward. That is what I can say.
Beautiful. Your turn, Andrew.
Sister Na, like she said, you would have to communicate, but you need to be attach some level of patience when you're communicating with him. Create that environment that would allow him to feel comfortable being vulnerable, being honest. Because sometimes when you're having conversation with men and you're reacting to every little thing, they may hold back. Because imagine he said, let me give you a typical example. Imagine he said, you no longer spend enough time with me. You could come back angry, sad, and be reactive. I'm not saying don't react. It's in your natural way to react. But after your first reaction, come back down and say, oh, I'll try to understand. Tell me more. Those two statements, I'll try to understand, tell me more, would open gates, you'll be surprised, right? And be open-minded about what he's saying. Manage your emotions a bit better. It's going to be tough, but try, right? And remember that this process that you're doing is leading to repairing your relationship, because you also need to truly understand where he's coming from, okay? Yes, being hurt, it's painful, right? We understand that. But try to also understand him and give him the opportunity to come forth. Yeah, that's what I'll say to you.
Right. And on this end, I would say that if someone cheats on you, sometimes it's not just a reflection of what you may not be doing. It's just a reflection of themselves and what they are missing out on internally. Sometimes it has absolutely nothing to do with you. Maybe doing everything that you're supposed to do or everything humanly possible that you can do, but because they have complexes within themselves. Hey, Na's husband is holding my tongue. It is village people. Because you may have complexes within yourself, you may tend to act out in certain ways that you shouldn't, and that may be the case of your husband. Or you might just not be pulling your weight in certain areas in your marriage, and now he's seeking that comfort and validation from an AI app. But regardless, I want you to know that your feelings are not wrong. Indeed, he's wrong for doing that. Indeed, it is wrong that he's emotionally cheating. And you need to have an open conversation about it. Just have a real conversation with him. Ask him, what is missing? And if you're not getting any tangible answers, you can then inform your next steps and decide what you want to do, all right? But tonight's conversation has been super insightful. Tonight's story is reminding us that relationships are not only tested by physical actions, but emotional bounds really matter as well. And whether those connections are with another person or with technology, trust remains the principal thing. Trust is the foundation, the crux, and trust needs to be maintained. So please don't go out there and shake someone's trust. Be kind to your partners, be kind to those around you. Integrity and trust goes a super long way, and artificial intelligence may continue to evolve, but one thing remains constant. Every lasting relationship requires honesty, communication, and of course emotional presence. All right, so I'd like to say thank you to our lovely guest, Lady Tracy, and to Andrew Owusu-Amankwah. Would you like to share your social media handles?
Okay, so you can find me on TikTok as Lady Tracy, also on Instagram, and also on Facebook as Lady Tracy. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so you can find me on Facebook as Andrew Somankwa, and then I think on
You're saying the name fast. You don't want them to find you.
no Andrew Somankwa, and then on Instagram as Jiza Pro Max. Yes, so
Okay, all right, cool. And you can find me as Keely Jade Brewer. That's the only name I have, the one my mother gave to me, and the one that's written in the book of life. Hopefully. It's been amazing hosting Broken Pen on behalf of Daphne Flashley. It's great to be here once again with the MX24 team. The dream team is where it's at. Thank you to our amazing team behind the camera and, of course, in the MCR for making this possible. And yeah, it is what it is. Nah, I wish you the very best of luck and everything will fall into place for you. Don't be disheartened. Don't be discouraged. Have real conversations and trust me, your broken pen will write again. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed. I love you. KJB out. Mwah.